Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast is number 1486. The topic is training template explanation, and we're going to be covering the fat loss and shaping program that's based on 30-minute workouts. So what today's podcast is I'm going to actually go page by page through the template, and I want to kind of express this about what the template is for people who are interested, and then those who bought the template can actually follow along. So this helps just kind of add an extra explanation to what they'll see in the template. Now, the templates are going to be $100. This is what I'm thinking of as right now. So they're $100 for the template. Now, the template's like 26 pages. So it's a ton of content, ton of good stuff. And then you can also get, if you want, separately, $100 for a 1-month educational support where I actually communicate with you and we'll talk about what your needs are, what your individual aspects are, and then how you would personalize that program to you. Now, I didn't want to force that aspect because sometimes some of the trainers I work with, the personal trainers, they already know a lot about it, so I didn't want them to have to pay for the extra educational component. And then also, if somebody wants to purchase a couple templates, they can just purchase that 1-month support on its own. They don't have to do that for each individual template. So I wanted to try to figure out how to make that, cost realistic. So I need to charge something to stay in business and cover the time to make the templates and the knowledge to make the templates, but I don't want to charge for things that people aren't going to need. Now, why am I offering these templates? A good contrast is to explain that we do have the $200 a month online client option. What I've been running into that is there's a cap on those. So there's only so many people I can work with at one time and do the type of quality of work that I want to do. I've overextended myself several times because I've had a hard time saying no as a personal trainer and being in business. I've overextended myself several times, and every single time the quality suffers and I get frustrated and mad at myself. And so I'm really trying to stay on this cap, and I'm always fluctuating at the cap or with a short waiting list. And I always feel bad for people on the waiting list, and then I normally would say yes, and it all went to crap. So I'm trying to figure out what can I do with the people who are wanting to work with me one-on-one, but I don't have the space for it. So the templates seem like a good solution for the people on the waiting list, or if somebody wanted the quality of the programming, but they didn't necessarily want or feel like they needed the month-to-month coaching. So the benefit of the $200 a month service is you don't have to do any of the thinking. I do the thinking for you. So I just tell you, this is the best workout structure. This is the best schedule per week. These are the best exercises. So everything is just done for you. It's streamlined. It's the most efficient process. Just absolutely the best way to do it. Now, there's unlimited Q&A. Any of my clients can write in their journal. Like every client has a Google Doc that they can write any questions they want in at any time. And every week I go in and answer the questions completely, fully, like really good answers. And then I'll pair together with it any podcast or any extra videos, from YouTube or something that I think would help answer the question. So there's still tons of learning, but writing the programming isn't on you. I do that for you if you do the new $200 a month online client. With that one, there's also nutrition programming. I write a personalized nutrition program for you. I do check-ins. If you use an app, I log into the app and actually tell you, hey, this day looked really good. These food choices were good, but maybe you can switch these around. And there's tons of education with that. Now, it also includes video reviews, so I do technique feedback for all the clients, and we do weekly communication. So the $200 a month online client service is very, very, very in-depth. The template, the original idea of why I did templates is we have personal trainers. Over half of my clients are personal trainers. Actually, about 3/4 of my clients right now are personal trainers. And a lot of them, we would start to talk about their clients and how they would train their clients based on the program that they had. And what kind of happened was I said, well, don't give them your program. Instead of giving them this exercise, give them an exercise in this category. So I started to kind of explain their program in categorical exercise choices rather than specifics. And that kind of led to the creation of a template. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, if I have a client who maybe I'm doing powerlifting, but this client wants to lose fat and shape up their body, like muscle shape. And I was like, well, that's a whole different template. We can't use your template. So I had to make a different template, and then that took extra time, and then it kind of grew from there. So I've been very blessed that the idea of the templates came from the demand for people to be able to use them. So that's awesome, and I'm excited to start offering these now on a larger scale. So the template has a basic workout structure. Now, for some goals, like for powerlifting, for example, there's a singular structure for squat, singular structure for bench, singular structure for deadlift, singular structure for like an accessory-based day. So there might be multiple workouts, whereas in some templates, you just have a single workout structure that you learn how to modify and twist and kind of maneuver. But the workouts are written with general kind of descriptions of what type of exercises you should select. And we're going to go through that full program right now, so you're going to see that. But the benefit is the framework the template offers, the program's complete. You're not missing anything. And it's consistent. So the personal training directors who have purchased templates from me, they bought them so that way their trainers could follow them. And then the training director knew no matter who they hired, the quality of the programming was consistent and complete. And that's allowed for a lot better client retention. And it's much easier for the training director than knowing that all the trainers are following something specific. However, the templates are allowing for personalization. So each trainer within the structure of the template has their own ability to kind of tweak and change things based on the client. So the trainers don't feel blocked in or like kind of constricted. They still feel free to learn, to grow in their knowledge, but it gives them some type of structure and consistency. So that's the idea of it. So I want to read through the template, and then those who bought the template, you can just follow along. We're going to literally start at page 1 and go all the way through it. And then those who haven't, you can listen in to what the template has in it. And then if you're interested, you can reach out at our email, brutalirongym@gmail.com. You can check out our website. We have a page talking about templates programs for sale, so you can check that out, www.brutalirongym.com. Or if you just want to request a specific topic, I'm in the process of making more and more templates, so we'll have templates coming out with like diastasis recti, how to address that and blend that into current programming. So there's going to be a lot of specific concepts being approached in the next couple months. But if you have one that you would like to see, let me know, and then I'll fast track that and try to get it going faster. But you can just email me at brutalirongym@gmail.com. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, I do understand that if you haven't bought the program, there's nothing visual for you to look at, so it's going to be a little harder to kind of, understand and kind of follow along with everything. But I still think there's a ton of good information in this. For those who have the template, just go to page 1. Let's get going. Excited. So the focus of this template, this one specifically, is how to achieve fat loss and shaping in 30-minute workouts. Now, this could be for individuals who want to achieve this goal. You don't have a ton of time to work out. You can commit to 30-minute workouts, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, somewhere in there. Trainers, if you do 30-minute sessions, this is your bread and butter right here. So that's what we originally made this structure for. So the template is designed to improve muscular shape and promote fat loss, but it will also improve overall strength, relative strength and absolute strength, mobility, cardiovascular endurance, and muscular endurance. Now, proper nutrition is a must. Now, in every template, we do have the descriptions of how to write your own nutrition program, but we also have the additional service option to add on nutrition programming, nutrition coaching. So for some of the trainers, I do nutrition coaching for their clients. So they'll just send their client to me, and then I'll run their client for nutrition while they do the training part. But if you're an individual and you would like to also purchase the nutrition aspect, that can be purchased along with the template. Now, the schedule. All workouts are structured with a full body focus, which allows for variability of schedule and frequency of the workouts per week without causing any specific body parts to be undertrained. Now, there's also descriptions on how to split these up into upper body versus lower body, depending on if you're training back-to-back days and need more recovery. But in general, the original kind of template is structured with full body. That way you can work out whenever the hell your schedule allows and you don't miss anything. The minimum that I would say you want to work out is 2 times per week to make some progress, but 3, 4, or 5 days would definitely be faster progress. Rest days you can kind of just take based on whatever your individual schedule is. There's no necessary rest days within the way the program is structured. So page 2, table of contents, we have the template notes, we have the per workout concept explanations. Then through the template itself, we have the overview, we have the explanation, we have 3 example beginner workouts, 3 example intermediate workouts, 3 example advanced workouts. Then we have a description of template variations that you can do to increase personalization and variability. Then we also have technique information for squat, bench, deadlift, and overhead press, how to stretch tight muscles. We have a whole bunch of treatments for that. We have self-treatments for pain management, and we have the nutrition information, and then a description of the add-on services and educational resources. So we'll go to page 3. The template notes. So the template is written with explanations of exercise categories and how to structure those categories into a per workout format. And this will all make a lot more sense as you see it. But the benefit of using exercise categories, so rather than giving you specific exercises, we say these are the type of exercises you would pick in this part of the program. That allows for the personalization, that allows for the variability, that allows for the freedom, but still that consistency that you want. So some things you want to consider when you're choosing exercises, and we have this written out in the template, is proximity of exercises, or are they near each other? So if you're doing multiple pieces of equipment, but you're having to run all the way across the gym back and forth, that's not going to be a great structure, especially not for a public gym. If you're in a home gym, doesn't really matter. Flow of exercises, meaning they should kind of transition well. If you have, for example, an exercise where you have to stand up, then lay down, then stand up, then lay down, you're just going to be annoyed at yourself. So don't do that. So make the flow of the exercises make sense. Make it easy for yourself. So if you're down the ground, make sure you stay down the ground, or only have to get up one time. That kind of concept. When selecting exercises, since you have the availability within this template to select your own exercises, the difficulty of exercises is going to be hit or miss sometimes. So when you're using a template that allows for open choices, you're going to have to kind of learn along the way what's best for you. So you might accidentally pick something that's too easy, or might pick something that's too hard. I would definitely recommend that you just swap that exercise out right in that moment rather than go through the whole workout and kind of waste time and energy. Now, we have a couple podcasts that help further concepts of exercise choice considerations, and they're listed within the template. The frequency of exercise changes, it's recommended to change every 4 weeks. However, sometimes you need to change sooner, sometimes you might wait a little bit longer, and we explain that, and we have podcasts to help support that as well. Now, for per workout, we have an explanation for how to do the warm-ups per movement, along with podcasts to go with that. We have an explanation of rest times and a podcast to go with that. The explanation of what a circuit is, because we use that a lot in this template. And then also a podcast to go with that. And then how do you select the right weight for each exercise, and a podcast to go with that. We also have explanations for how to make weekly progressions and a podcast paired with that. We also have kind of just general information for workouts. So in the template, there's a lot of abbreviations used. For example, barbell is just labeled BB, cable is CB, dumbbell is DB, and so on. And then we have a couple podcasts that help just kind of with, they're basically called like newbie knowledge. So if you're new to the gym, you're a newbie. And we go through and we just explain, like even from the difference of what's a barbell versus a dumbbell. So really starts at the basics and tries to teach from there. We also talk about improved freedom of movement, meaning that if you feel muscularly tight, if you're kind of like, oh man, I'm about to go, but my lower back feels real tight or my hamstrings feel real tight, we have actually stretches that you can do to improve your mobility before you even start the workout. However, at the start of each workout is mobility work, so that makes it to where over time your mobility will get a lot better, and you might not need to add any stretches whatsoever other than just what's included within the workout. We also have information, including a podcast, on how to recover between the workouts to not be so muscularly tight, so you don't have to be super sore and super tight after the workouts. Now that's all less than the first couple pages. Tons of stuff. Let's go to page number 6. So page number 6 is a template overview. So we talk about, for the workout structure, the first part of the workout is a movement prep circuit. And you would combine an exercise for kind of thoracic mobility, which is kind of like shoulder mobility or shoulder strengthening. You do core strengthening and the ability to brace your core to have proper kind of midsection positioning, hip tilt positioning. It improves posture. And then we also pair that with a hip-based kind of mobility and stretching or strengthening exercise. So we go through and we give the number of sets you should do, the time under tension that you should do for each exercise. But that's the first circuit, is just an exercise for the shoulders, an exercise for the core, an exercise for the hips. You go through that 2 sets. Now that we go through in the next page in the template explanation, we explain that that's just 6 to 10 minutes. So it's very quick, but it gets improved quality of movement, which helps with mobility. It helps with recovery. It helps with, just so much injury prevention. So one of the certifications I have is corrective exercise specialist certification. So I build in a lot of things here that'll keep people really safe and healthy, which is why a lot of my powerlifters, they actually feel great going into meets. They don't feel so beat up and destroyed because we do take care of them through the program. Then the second part of the workout is a main circuit, where you pair together a lower body exercise with a knee bend focus, and we'll go through the explanations here in a second of what these mean. Then there's a lower body exercise with a hip bend focus, upper body push, and an upper body pull. Now, we typically would go through 3 sets of those exercises, somewhere between 20 to 40 seconds of time under tension. That time under tension range matches the goals of shaping the muscles but burning a lot of calories. So that's why that specific time under tension range is chosen. So, on the bottom of page number 6 there, it says, the structure is simplistic in presentation on purpose to help with clarity. However, there are limitless ways to modify the structure to increase variety and personalization. So examples of possible modifications are explained in the template variations for increased personalization and variability section. Okay, so far in the template, what we've covered is we talked about the first page, we talked about the schedule, we talked about how to select exercises in the best way, we talked about warm-ups, rest times, what is a circuit, how do you select the right weight, how do you make progressions from each week, and then we talked about tight muscles and all that stuff. So we went through the template structure, the basic structure, and that's just that movement prep circuit followed by the main circuit, where you target the whole body. Now, the explanation for this, the movement prep circuit takes about 6 to 10 minutes in total. The rest time between each circuit, round of the circuits, is just minimal. You want to just kind of move through them pretty quickly. And they're non-competing exercises, meaning your muscles, you don't have to wait for the muscles to stop burning to move into the next exercise, because the next exercise uses different muscles. So you just have a little bit of a cardiovascular stress through this, but that's good. That helps you burn more calories. That helps towards the fat loss goal. So it's a good thing. In this section, we have the explanation of the template. So for the thoracic kind of shoulder mobility or shoulder strengthening exercise, the highest priority of exercise selection would be to address existing mobility issues. So I include a link there for a video of how to self-test your thoracic mobility. Pretty awesome. Now, once that's addressed, you would want to, the second priority of exercise selection would be to strengthen the muscles. We have exercises for thoracic strengthening included in our example workouts, but I also gave a podcast link there. A YouTube link for multiple exercises from a video. So you can see a bunch more examples. The next exercise you pick is for core strengthening and bracing. And again, the highest priority for exercise selection would be to address the ability to brace the core as is needed in heavy self-supporting exercises such as squats and deadlifts. I include a video to teach how to do core bracing. And then we say the second priority of exercise selection will be to strengthen the muscles. And again, we have a YouTube link there for several core strengthening exercises, as well as we do have examples in our example workouts. The next exercise you pick in the movement prep circuit is the hip-based mobility and strengthening. The highest priority there, of course, would be to address mobility issues. So we include a video there to do self-testing for hip mobility. very awesome to have. And then we have the second priority for exercise selection would be to strengthen the muscles. And again, we have a YouTube link for a bunch of examples. And then we have exercise examples in our template workout examples as well. So per exercise, the guidelines do not apply to self-tests. So do the self-tests independent on their own. But exercises that involve continuous tension and repetitions of effort, if mobility is the goal, you want to be within around 2 sets of 20 to 40 seconds of time under tension. If strengthening is the goal, you actually want to be at 2 sets of 10 to 30 seconds of time under tension. 10 to 30 seconds allows for a little bit of a heavier weight load, which does stimulate more strength adaptation from the body. Whereas mobility, if that's the goal, you want to kind of take your time and move through that, really exploring the full range of motion. So that's why 20 to 40 seconds is a little bit of a longer time frame, and it's better if mobility is your target. For the main circuit, this is the one that has 4 exercises in it. The lower body, 2 lower bodies and 2 upper bodies. For the total time for completing all working sets in this one is 20 to 24 minutes. So the first circuit, the movement prep circuit, takes 6 to 10 minutes. And then the main circuit takes 20 to 24 minutes. Now I have trained over 20,000 hours. I did the math the other day and it's actually over 25,000. I have trained people in person for over 25,000 hours. Makes me sound like I'm 1,000 years old. I'm not. I've just been doing this my whole life. But I have trained people for 25,000 hours in a row. That's like 1,114 days. If I were to train people 24 hours a day, no stopping, I would have done that for like 1,114 days. Pretty cool. I have taken people through this exact workout structure, and 100% of the time, you can get this done in 30 minutes. Now, the first time you do it, it's probably going to take a little bit longer because you might have to do some of the self-testing. You might have to test and try out some work exercises that are new for you. You might have to do an extra warm-up set or two because you weren't sure what weight to use. So the first time you do this, it might take longer than 30 minutes, or you might not get through everything for all 3 sets. Maybe you only get to do 2 working sets. That's okay. The first time is just learning the program, and then as you run it more and more, you'll be able to get this done easily in 30 minutes, no problem. You still have a ton of time to talk in between the working sets for clients to talk about, individual needs, just kind of touch base with them. But this is absolutely can be done in 30 minutes. As I said, I've done over 25,000 hours of in-person training. It can be done. Okay, so this circuit, you have the exercises can be performed in any order, but I have them presented in the order of the first exercise being lower body with a knee bend focus. So this means you're picking things that commonly have an upright torso. So the torso stays relatively upright throughout the movement. That would be like squats, split squats, step-ups, lunges, machine leg extensions. So I have all that written, and then there's exact exercise examples in the example workouts. But that's basically what the first thing you're going to look for is an exercise that targets the lower body, but it's mostly a knee bend focus, meaning that your torso is going to stay mostly upright throughout the whole movement. Kind of once it finds an angle, it kind of stays there. The next exercise you look for is a lower body work exercise with a hip bend focus. So this is actually the opposite. It's still lower body, but the common characteristic of these exercises is that the upper body pivots at the hips, and you alternate between like an upright position to a bent over position to an upright position to a bent over position. And those would be examples of like stiff leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, hip thrusts, machine leg curls. But it would be things where you're focusing more so on the hamstrings and adductors, abductors, and the glutes, the backside of the lower body. Whereas the first exercise, the knee bend focus, is mostly on the quadriceps. So between those 2 exercises, you're targeting everything in the lower body. Then the third exercise you would want to pick is an upper body with a push focus, and that's something that focuses on the chest, the front shoulders, the triceps. Common examples would be a chest press, overhead press, dips, triceps extensions, chest flies, things like that. A common characteristic of these exercises is that you're contracting against a weight to push it away from you. So it's you're pushing something away from you, and that's a pushing exercise. The last exercise, and again, you can do these in any order, would be an upper body with a pull focus. So something that targets the back, the mid shoulders, the rear delts, the biceps. And that could be rows, pull downs, pull ups, lateral raises, bicep curls. So a common characteristic of these exercises is you're contracting to pull something towards yourself. And that's going to be a pulling exercise. Now, for all these exercises, you want to aim for 3 sets of 20 to 40 seconds of time under tension. Like we said, maybe the first time you're doing the workout, you might only get 2 working sets in. That's okay. You're just kind of getting the feel of it. That's why we keep it for 4 weeks. So the next week, you try to get all 3 sets in. Now you're more familiar with the movements. The 3rd week, you try to add reps or weight. The 4th week, again, you try to add reps or weight. And then the 5th week, you switch it out for some new stuff. So we have some workout examples for beginner level, starting at page 9. We have workout number 1. And for all of these workouts, these examples, we have specific tutorial videos for every single exercise. So, for example, the movement prep circuit in workout number 1 would be vacuum breathing laying on your back, and this helps you control your abdominal wall. This actually helps with distended stomachs, whether it's from pregnancy or just being from overweight. It helps you pull your abdominal wall inward. It helps you learn how to brace and breathe when you're flexing your abs. Then we do floor slides for thoracic mobility. So you're just laying on the ground. You're going to stay on the ground, and you're just basically sliding your arms against the ground up over your head. And then you do a cross-legged glute bridge, which is really good for kind of like opening up mobility within the hip, as well as strengthening the glute. And that's all done on the ground. You do 2 rounds through it. Now, for each of those, we tell you how many reps to do, how many sets. So really cool. Then the main circuit for this one would be dumbbell goblet squat, goblet hold box squats. And what that means, you just basically hold a dumbbell or a kettlebell. You can use either one at your chest, and then you're going to sit down onto a box or a bench and stand back up. And you're focusing on feet being a little bit wider than your shoulders, toes slightly angled out. You're sitting back into your hips, really using your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, learning how to move through proper range of motion. Now, again, remember this is the beginner example. So if you're advanced beyond box squats, don't worry, we have advanced exercises as well. You would then go to a dumbbell RDL with a pause at the bottom. This is just teaching you how to hinge at your hips and sit back into the glutes and hamstrings. So really good there. Then we also have dumbbell chest press, which we would have as our pushing exercise. And then we want to do dumbbell 1-arm rows with our hand and knee on the bench. And again, with all of these, we have a video that shows you exactly what it looks like to do this, talks you through the technique. We have all the sets, the reps, and everything included. Then for page 10, we have the second workout example for the beginner. Page 11 is the third workout example. So you, as a beginner, you can just run all 3 of those workouts for the first month. Just run do 3 workouts a week. Do each one of these once a week. Do them for 4 weeks in a row. That's your first month of programming. If that goes well, you can either just swap out exercises, or you can actually move on to the intermediate workout examples if you feel like you're strong enough and you can do these kind of movements, because we have a little bit more challenging movements included in these 3 workout examples. But in the beginner workout examples, you have a full month of program. In the intermediate, you have another full month, and in the advanced, you have another full month. So every template has 3 months worth of actual programs, like actual workouts, like specific exercise example workouts. So really awesome. Page 12, 13, and 14 are the intermediate level workout examples. And then we have, starting on page 15, is the advanced. And again, there's a workout 1, workout 2, and a workout 3. Now, the next thing is where I think like a lot of the bread and butter, kind of the cool stuff comes in if you're a personal trainer, is on page 18. We talk about template variations for increased personalization and variability. This is when you can kind of play with it, have some fun, change things up, and really have uniqueness to the way in which you approach this structure. So one of the ways you can create more personalization and variability is the order of exercises. So changing the order of the exercises within each circuit can create variety within the programming without losing the benefit of the template. So if you don't want to start with lower body, you can start with upper body. Or if you want to do 1 lower, 1 upper, 1 lower, 1 upper, that's totally fine as well. In the movement preparation circuit, maybe you want to start with hips rather than shoulders. Totally fine. You can play with all those. You can move it all around. You can change the time under tension. That's also another way to kind of create some variability within this template. Now, the template is originally created to focus on muscular shape and caloric usage, which helps with body fat loss. However, you can change the time under tension targets per exercise to change the focus of each exercise, or just one of them or two of them, however you want. If you want to focus more on strength or focus more on caloric usage or muscular development. So maybe somebody they want to strengthen their legs, so you do the leg stuff a little heavier, but you don't want to get the upper body too bulky or too big, so you just do higher repetitions on the upper body. So you can play around with that a lot. And we have a podcast that helps explain time under tension ranges and what the outcome would be for different ranges. You can also change the working set intensity structure. So right now, the way it's structured is each working set would be equally, challenging. However, you can play around with that a lot. So you can perform one or two working sets with perfect technique and stopping one or two reps short of good form failure. So you're like, I know I did these ones absolutely perfect. Then on the final working set, you can use an intensity modifier, which is known as an intensity technique. And what that might be is it's something that helps you push beyond normal levels of failure. So you might go to the most you can do with that weight, but then you do what's called a drop set. And you reduce the weight by 20, 30%, and you try a couple more reps. Or you might do the most you can do with that weight, take 5 seconds of a breather, and then try another couple reps. There's a resource there, a podcast, that lists over a dozen intensity techniques that you can add, like rest, pause, drop sets, slow and go. There's about 4,000 other things. Run the rack. There's a bunch of other examples of ways you can add intensity modifiers to the last working set. Then you can also split the main circuit. So performing the main circuit as a template is written with 4 exercises in a single main circuit allows for the full body workout within the 30-minute time frame. However, there are some options that you can use to modify that. So you can choose to reduce the number of exercises within the main circuit to only maybe 2 upper body or only 2 lower body focused workout exercises per workout, And that can allow you to switch from a full body focus to maybe an upper body workout or a lower body workout focus. That can be beneficial if you're performing the workouts on back-to-back days and you don't feel recovered by that second day enough. You can start to split the focus to be upper-lower rather than full body. You can also, if you want to, you can separate the main circuit into 2 circuits of 2 exercises and still perform all of it. But that will extend it past the 30 minutes. So if you have, say, 40 minutes or 45 minutes, you might split the main circuit into 2 circuits of 2 exercises, but still do all the working sets. And that can allow you to just focus a little bit more on more weight load, reduce the cardiovascular stress a little bit. So if you're focusing more on muscle development, not so much on the fat loss and cardio usage, that might be a good way to kind of make modifications for you as well. You can also just move equipment to a same proximity. So in our examples, we use free weights in our examples, dumbbells, body weight, and kettlebells. But you can also incorporate, if you wanted to, for example, a leg press. You would just take some free weight things like dumbbells or kettlebells and go move them by the leg press and then do this whole circuit using the leg press. So I've done this before when I used to train at commercial gyms. I would take some free weight items and go to a machine that I want to incorporate for a client, and we would do our whole workout right there, right by the machine. Now, again, this section of the workout might only be, 20 minutes. So, I got a little bit of pushback here and there from the gym owners if I was taking a machine for 20 minutes, but I was doing really well. All my clients were signing back up and I was making the gym money, so they left me alone. So that was ways in which I made modifications. There's almost an unlimited amount of ways that you can create variability within this program structure. So starting on page 20, we have a bunch of extra information. It's a bunch of videos for squat technique. There's videos for general squat technique, bar placement, how to brace your core and your upper back, head positioning, rooting the feet, external rotation of the knees. So tons of good stuff there. We talk about the bench press if you want to learn about that. So general bench press technique. There's also videos for lat tightness, back tightness, leg pressure. The conventional deadlift, we have videos for that. Sumo deadlift, we have videos for that. And overhead press, we have videos for that, as well as how how to protect your lower back during an overhead press. Then on page 21, we have stretches to address tight muscles. We have lower body stretches. We have upper body stretches. You can perform those before the workouts, between the workouts, just anytime if you feel anything is tight. We also have self-treatment for videos for any kind of pain management. So if you have a pain in the front of your shoulder, we have 2 examples of therapies you can do. Pain in your elbows, we have 2 examples. Pain in the front of the hip, in the knee joint, in the low back, we have a ton of self-treatments that you can do that will really help you take care of yourself. For nutrition information, it would definitely be beneficial to have a solid nutrition program paired with the template so that way you get all the benefits from it. Your muscles can't change if they don't have the protein to do so. So you have to make sure your nutrition's on point. We point you in the direction of podcast 1232, which is our nutrition podcast. It'll start here. It literally tells you step by step how to set up your own nutrition program. And then we also have the add-on service for nutrition coaching if you would like. So on page 24 is the add-on services. Like we said, there's the template education, which is a $100 one-time payment, and I'll help you for a month. I'll ask about your specific goals, your training history, your past injuries, your current abilities, your equipment availability, and I'll help you pick specific exercises that work best for you. We communicate every single week through Q&As. You ask any questions you want, I answer them, and that way we really teach you how to modify this and play with this through that first month. We also have nutrition coaching, which is $100 a month. There's no contract. You just add it on for as long as you want it. I'll help you set up a personalized nutrition program, then teach you how to do it. And then once you feel like you're good, you can just go with it on your own. That's great there. Then we do also have that $200 a month online coaching full service type program where I set up these extra specific exercises for you using the template. I set up your nutrition program for you. We do the weekly communications. We do the video check-ins. We do the unlimited Q&A, everything. And then I have a podcast there that explains the online coaching as well. Then on the final page, page 26, we direct you to know about the podcast, which I don't know how you wouldn't by this point because you're listening to it right now. But for those who get this template through their trainer or somebody else, different avenue, maybe they're going to be unaware of the podcast and the aspect that it's free to ask any question you want. So ask anything you want and I'll answer it in a podcast. Then we also direct people to our Instagram page as well. So that was incredibly fast in my mind, but that was probably a long 36 minutes for you. But that is our templates, and we're going to have them for a number of goals. We're going to do fat loss and shaping, like we said. This one's a 30-minute workout. We're also going to do powerlifting. We're going to do power building, where you want to get big and strong. We're going to go through a lot of other ones. I have a bunch of other ones planned. Let me actually see if I can pull up the list. That way we have an idea of what's coming. We also have like individual competitors. So women's bikini, wellness, physique, bodybuilding, men's physique, classic physique, bodybuilding. We have Olympic lifting. I'm going to do some strength-based ones because I work with a lot of CrossFit coaches, and they want to learn how to improve the strength of Olympic lifts. So we talk about that. We also have a supplemental strength-based program that I do with CrossFit athletes and coaches. So I'll teach how to blend in strength programming into their CrossFit programming as well. We have Strongman program coming out. We're going to do a positional correction to undo basically the sitting posture that most people have. We have a program for that. We're going to have a program for diastasis recti. I have all these things written down that I'm going to get to in the next couple months, but I wanted to share this one. It's going to be the first one up on the website. I'm super excited. Everybody who's used this, all my clients, the trainers who've used this have loved it. So I'm happy to be expanding on it and making it something that we're now going to offer to anyone that wants it. Okay. So tons and tons and tons of information, maybe even too much information. But if you have any questions about this service, if you want to purchase the templates, just shoot me an email, brutalirongym@gmail.com, or check us out on our website. And again, I'm excited and happy to help people. I appreciate everybody's interest and desire to work with me, and I want to make sure that I'm always able to say yes in some way. I think this template is a pretty badass way for the trainers I work with and any trainer interested to learn a singular structure that you can then create an unlimited amount of variance from, but never lose the consistency and the completeness of the program. Okay. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was exciting. If you like our podcast, especially this one, if you don't mind sharing this one, that would be great, just to let more people know that these templates are available. You can share on social media. That does reach the most amount of people. But even if you just know anybody who's looking for some workout information, maybe even nutrition information, just let them know that the podcast exists and tell them to reach out to us on the website or through our email. Also, thank you to those who donate to support the podcast. The podcast is well over $1,000 a month. I mean, a year. Yeah, thank God, not a month. But $1,000 a year for hosting costs. I give an hour to it every day, and I'm going to keep it for free. So I appreciate the donations, which help cover some of that cost. You can donate at our website. We have an option for a one-time donation, monthly donation, yearly donation, even just $5 a month. It does add up, and it does help a lot. So thank you. If you like the information we share in our podcast, you can always find more from us on our social media channels on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, anything that you want to know, let us know at our email, brutalirongym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.